how to forgive yourself and forgive the world. Listen closely, because what I am about to share with you has the power to set you free. You see, the greatest prison in the world is not made of walls, bars, or chains. It is built within the mind brick, by guilt, by anger, by shame, and by the pain of the past. And yet there is a key so simple, so profound, that it can unlock the gates to peace, to clarity, and to a higher version of yourself. That key is forgiveness, the first step, forgiving yourself before you can ever forgive the world, before you can make peace with others. You must first confront the man or the woman in the mirror. Because here is the truth, you will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. If you walk through life chained to your mistakes, your failures, your regrets, if every night you close your eyes and replay the moments you wish you could change, then you are living in yesterday, and yesterday will never let you see tomorrow. Understand this, you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. When you know better, you do better, but you cannot punish yourself forever for the ignorance of the past. Forgiveness is not saying, it didn't matter. Forgiveness is saying, it mattered, but it no longer controls me. Close your eyes right now and repeat this. I release myself from the prison of my past. I forgive the person I was. I allow myself to grow into who I am meant to be. The second step, forgiving the world. Once you've made peace with yourself, you'll notice something extraordinary. The world softens. The same people who once angered you, the same memories that burned your soul, the same betrayals, the same disappointments, they lose their power. You see, when you hold on to anger, you chain yourself to the very thing you despise. It is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiving others is not about excusing what they did. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of bitterness. Understand that hurt people, those who wounded you, were often fighting battles you could not see, carrying pain they did not know how to release. When you forgive them, you are not saying it was right. You are saying, I will not let your darkness dim my light any longer. The power of release. Imagine for a moment that your soul is a cup. When it is full of anger, regret, or hatred, there is no space for love, for peace, for growth, for opportunity. But the moment you pour it out, the moment you release that weight, you create space for blessings you never even imagined. And life responds to that. Doors begin to open. New people, new experiences, new opportunities flow to you because you are no longer vibrating with pain. Living with forgiveness. Make forgiveness your daily practice. Every morning, look in the mirror and say, I am free. I forgive myself. I forgive the world, and I walk forward with light in my heart. Every night, release the weight of the day. Do not carry today's anger into tomorrow's sunrise. The truth about freedom, forgiveness, is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is the ultimate strength, because the strongest person is not the one who strikes back. It is the one who has the courage to let go, to rise above, to keep moving forward with faith and with love. The world will not always be kind. People will not always be fair. But you have the power to choose your response, and in that choice lies your freedom. So forgive the mistakes, forgive the people, forgive yourself, and then step boldly into the life that is waiting for you, a life of peace, a life of clarity, a life where you are no longer chained by yesterday, but guided by the infinite possibilities of today. Because only when you forgive do you finally become free. Self-forgiveness is the first step to freedom. Listen carefully, for this truth can change the course of your life. Before you can find peace with the world, before you can build the life you dream of, you must make peace with the person you see in the mirror. Everything begins there. No man, no woman, no child can rise higher than the image they hold of themselves. If you see yourself as broken, unworthy, or beyond redemption, then every effort you make will collapse under the weight of that belief. You cannot climb to the mountaintop while dragging the chains of guilt, shame, and regret. You must break those chains, and the only way to break them is through forgiveness. Understand this. Life is not lived forward in perfection. It is lived forward through lessons. Every mistake you have made was a lesson. Every wrong choice, every poor decision, every moment you wish you could erase it was part of your education. You were learning, growing, evolving, but here is where most people remain stuck. Instead of growing from those experiences, they choose to live in them. They replay the moment, they punish themselves over and over, forgetting that the moment has already passed. Think about it. How many nights have you closed your eyes and relived the same memory? How many mornings have you opened your eyes and felt the same heavy weight on your chest because you cannot let go of something that is already gone? That is not strength. That is self-imprisonment. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks that prison. And here is the truth about forgiveness. It does not mean you are excusing what you did. It does not mean you are pretending it never happened. It means you are ready to set yourself free from the chains of yesterday. It means you are ready to stop being a prisoner of your past and start being the architect of your future. I want you to understand this clearly. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And when you know better, you do better. That is the law of growth. To keep punishing yourself for who you were is to deny yourself the right to become who you are meant to be. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Picture the version of you who made those mistakes. Picture the fear, the confusion, the pain that drove those decisions, and then whisper these words: I forgive you, I release you. You no longer control me, I am free to grow. Do this every single day until you feel the weight begin to lift, because here is another truth. Forgiveness is not a single act. It is a process. It is a decision you make every day until your heart believes it. And when your heart believes it, everything in your life begins to change. When you forgive yourself, something extraordinary happens. Your energy shifts. You stop walking through the world with your head down. You stop doubting your worth. You begin to speak, act, and move like someone who knows they are enough. And the world responds to that energy. Opportunities open. People trust you. Life begins to trust you. But you cannot fake this. Forgiveness is not a performance. It is an internal revolution. It is the quiet but powerful moment when you stop running from your past and face it head on, saying, I accept what happened. I accept what I learned, and I choose to move forward. Without self-forgiveness, you will always sabotage your progress. You may achieve success for a moment, but deep down you will feel unworthy of it, and you will find a way to lose it. That is why so many people repeat the same cycles, because their hearts have not healed from the wounds they inflicted upon themselves. Make no mistake, self-forgiveness is not weakness. It is not indulgence. It is the highest form of strength. It takes courage to admit you have carried pain for too long. It takes strength to release the stories that have defined you, and it takes faith, deep, unshakable faith, to believe that you are capable of starting again. The past is not a life sentence. It is a teacher. Learn from it, then leave it where it belongs. Let the lessons remain, but let the pain go. When you forgive yourself, you step into a new space where growth is natural and progress is inevitable. From this moment forward, every time your mind tries to replay the past, stop it. Replace that thought with this truth. You are no longer that person. You are no longer bound by what you did or what happened to you. You are free to build, to create, to rise. Forgive yourself today, not tomorrow, not someday, today, because every second you spend in self-condemnation is a second stolen from your future. Your freedom, your peace, your success, they all begin the moment you look yourself in the eye and say, I forgive you, I love you, and together we rise. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think that to forgive is to forget, that to forgive is to excuse, that to forgive is to say, it didn't matter, but that is not the truth. Forgiveness does not erase what happened. Forgiveness does not justify the pain you endured or the choices you regret. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It is about reclaiming your power over it. You must understand that every wound you carry, every scar upon your heart, Every mistake that whispers in your ear when the room is quiet, those things will continue to control you as long as you allow them to. The past cannot be undone, but it can be transformed. That transformation begins the moment you decide that what happened will no longer define what happens next. When you forgive yourself, you are not saying, "What I did was right." No. You are saying, "What I did taught me, it shaped me, and now I will grow beyond it." This is a crucial distinction. Forgiveness is not permission for weakness to remain. It is permission for strength to rise. Consider the times in your life when you stumbled. Perhaps you trusted someone who betrayed you. Perhaps you made a decision that led to loss, to pain, to consequences that still echo in your memory. For so long, you have replayed that moment, blaming yourself, shaming yourself, chaining yourself to that version of you who did not yet know what you know now. But what is the point of learning the lesson if you refuse to step into the wisdom it gave you? There is a simple truth that will set you free. You cannot drive forward while staring into the rear view mirror. Every moment you spend reliving the pain of the past is a moment you deny yourself the opportunity to build a better future. When you forgive, you do not erase the lesson. The lesson remains. The growth remains. What you release is the weight, the bitterness, the self-condemnation that has been holding you in place. Forgiveness is not erasing the chapter, it is closing the chapter so you can begin to write a new one. This same principle applies to forgiving others. Someone may have wronged you. Someone may have spoken words that cut deep or taken actions that altered the path of your life. Forgiving them does not mean saying what they did was acceptable. It does not mean you must invite them back into your life or trust them again. It means you are no longer willing to let their actions poison your heart. Anger, resentment, and hatred, these are heavy burdens. You carry them day after day, believing that somehow your suffering punishes the one who hurt you. But the truth is, you are the one who suffers. The other person may have moved on, living their life untouched by the bitterness that eats away at you. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. It is the decision to say, "I will not drink this poison any longer. I will not let this darkness dim my light. I will not allow what was done to me to decide what becomes of me." When you begin to understand this, you will feel a shift. It may be small at first, a quiet sense of release, a whisper of peace, and then, as you continue to choose forgiveness each day, the whisper grows louder, the chains grow lighter. You begin to see clearly that forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is strength. It takes no effort to hate, but it takes immense power to release hate and choose freedom. Think about the energy you have wasted replaying old conversations, imagining what you should have said or done. Think about the nights you could not sleep because you were trapped in the cycle of what if and if only. Now, imagine what your life would look like if all that energy were freed, if it could be poured into building your future, into your goals, into your peace. That is the gift of forgiveness. It is not an event, it is a practice. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you will wake up and feel the old anger trying to creep back in. But that is when you remind yourself, "I have already chosen my freedom. I will not go back to my prison." Forgiveness means you carry the wisdom but leave behind the pain. It means you honor the lesson without reliving the suffering. It means you take control of your story, writing the next chapter with clarity, with courage, and with strength. And here is the greatest reward. When you forgive, you create space, space for love, space for growth, space for opportunities that cannot exist in a heart cluttered with bitterness and regret. Forgiveness clears the soil of your life so that something greater can take root. Remember this always. Forgiveness does not erase the past, it empowers your future. It is not forgetting, it is choosing to live unbound, to step boldly into the life that is waiting for you, free from the chains of what once was. Anger, resentment, and regret, they are the heaviest burdens a person can carry. They weigh you down in ways you cannot always see, but you can always feel. They sit on your shoulders, they live in your chest, and they whisper in your mind, keeping you chained to the very past you wish to escape. And yet most people walk through life gripping these emotions as though they are precious, as though they are somehow protecting them. But understand this truth: holding on to anger does not punish the one who hurt you. Holding on to resentment does not rewrite the past. Holding on to regret does not undo what has been done. It only keeps you trapped, living in a prison of your own making. Anger is a fire that consumes its owner before it ever reaches its target. Resentment is poison you drink, hoping it will hurt someone else. Regret is a thief that steals the joy from the present moment. These emotions are chains, and you hold the key to release yourself, but too many people never use it. I have seen men and women destroy their own futures because they refuse to let go of what happened yesterday. They wake each day replaying old conversations, reliving old betrayals, feeling the sting of moments that are gone. They are so focused on the wound that they cannot see the path forward. They do not understand that life cannot be built looking backward. You cannot step into your future while dragging the weight of your past behind you. If you wish to live free, truly free, you must let it go. Let the anger go. Let the bitterness go. Let the endless cycle of "why did this happen to me?" and "what if I had done things differently?" go. There is no peace in that place. There is no growth in that place. There is only pain, circling endlessly, robbing you of the life you could be living right now. But letting go does not mean denying the reality of what happened. It does not mean pretending you were not hurt. It does not mean erasing the lessons those moments taught you. It means accepting what is and choosing to release the hold it has over you. Think of it like this: your mind is a garden. Every thought you plant grows into something. Anger plants weeds, resentment plants thorns, regret plants roots that choke the soil so nothing new can grow. But when you choose to forgive, when you choose to release, you clear the garden. You make space for new seeds, seeds of peace, of strength, of clarity to take root. Do not be fooled into thinking that holding on makes you strong. Anyone can hold a grudge. Anyone can live in anger. That requires no courage. True strength, the kind that transforms a life, comes from letting go. It comes from standing in the ashes of what was and saying, "I will not be burned by this any longer. I choose to rise." And here is the irony: the very moment you release the anger, the moment you let go of the resentment, you gain what you were chasing all along: power. Because now you are no longer controlled by what happened. You are no longer a victim of circumstances you cannot change. You reclaim your energy, you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your life. This is not easy work. Your mind will fight it. It will remind you of the betrayal, the pain, the injustice. It will whisper that you have a right to hold on, that letting go means they win. But you must understand forgiveness is not about them, it is about you. Letting go is the only way to win your own freedom. Imagine this: every time you choose to dwell on the past, you are giving away your power. You are handing your present moment to something that no longer exists. But when you release it, you take that power back. You hold it in your hands. You redirect it toward building the life you deserve. The world belongs to those who understand this truth. Nothing grows in soil poisoned by anger. Nothing thrives in a heart full of bitterness. And nothing great is built by someone chained to yesterday. So release it. Release the resentment toward others. Release the regret toward yourself. Release the anger that keeps you stuck in a cycle of pain. Let it go, not because what happened was right, but because you deserve peace more than you deserve to suffer. When you free yourself from those chains, you will discover something extraordinary. The air feels lighter. The days feel brighter. Possibilities you never noticed before begin to reveal themselves. People are drawn to your presence because they can feel the lightness in you. And in that lightness, you finally find the space to grow, to love, to build, and to truly live. Hurt people. That is a truth most never take the time to understand. Every word of anger, every act of betrayal, every cruel decision that left you broken it came from someone carrying their own invisible wounds. And until you see this, until you understand this, you will carry bitterness that poisons your heart and blocks your path forward. When someone wrongs you, your first instinct is to ask, why me? Why would they do this? Why would they choose to hurt me? But rarely do we stop to ask, what pain were they carrying? What battles were they fighting that I could not see? The truth is, the people who hurt you the most are often those who have never learned how to heal themselves. They lash out because pain has blinded them. They wound because they are wounded. This does not excuse what they did. This does not make it right, but it gives you something far more powerful than anger. It gives you understanding. And from understanding, compassion grows. Think for a moment about the times you have hurt others, whether intentionally or not. Were you truly acting from strength, or were you reacting from fear, frustration, or pain you didn't know how to handle? When you reflect honestly, you see the pattern clearly. Pain is contagious. It spreads like wildfire when it is left unchecked. When you begin to see the world through this lens, forgiveness becomes less of a struggle. You start to realize that holding on to anger only keeps you tied to the very pain you are trying to escape. You stop asking for justice from people who don't even understand the harm they caused, and you start choosing peace not for them, but for yourself. Understand this. Forgiveness is not agreement. Forgiveness is not saying it's okay. It is saying, I will not let your darkness dim my light any longer. I will not carry your pain as if it is my own. That shift in perspective is where your power begins. There will be people in your life who will never apologize, people who will never acknowledge the harm they caused, who will never take responsibility for their actions. If you wait for their apology to free yourself, you will wait a lifetime. But the beauty of forgiveness is that you don't need their permission to let go. You can choose right here and now to release yourself from the grip of their actions. Compassion does not make you weak, it makes you wise. When you understand that the world is full of broken people doing their best with the tools they have, you stop taking everything so personally. You stop carrying the weight of other people's battles on your shoulders. You begin to see that their actions were never a reflection of your worth, they were a reflection of their wounds. Imagine looking into the eyes of someone who once caused you deep pain and seeing not the villain you've carried in your mind, but a human being flawed, struggling, and lost. That moment of clarity is where freedom begins, because once you understand, you stop feeding the cycle of anger. You stop allowing that pain to replay in your mind day after day, year after year. This understanding does not mean you allow people to continue hurting you. Boundaries are still necessary, distance is sometimes necessary, but anger no longer fuels those decisions. Instead, strength and clarity guide you. You can walk away without hate. You can move on without bitterness. That is the power of understanding. When you choose compassion over anger, something inside you begins to shift. The world feels lighter. Opportunities feel closer. Your heart no longer carries the heavy weight of resentment, and in that lightness you create space for growth, for peace, and for love to flow in. And here's the truth. Life will always bring people and situations that test your ability to forgive. There will always be someone who disappoints you, betrays you, or speaks words meant to wound. But every time this happens, you are given a choice to stay trapped in bitterness or to rise above it through understanding and compassion. Every time you choose understanding, you take your power back. You stop being a victim of what was and start being the creator of what will be. You reclaim the energy that anger steals and you redirect it toward building a better version of yourself and a brighter future. So look at the world differently. See beyond the actions to the pain beneath them. Understand that every harsh word, every selfish act, every wound inflicted came from someone carrying burdens too heavy to name. When you see that truth, forgiveness becomes less of an impossible task and more of an act of wisdom and act of freedom. Choose that freedom, not for them, for you. When you hold on to guilt, anger, or resentment, you block the flow of everything good that life is trying to give you. Your mind becomes cluttered, your heart becomes heavy, and without even realizing it, you begin to push away opportunities, relationships, and growth that could transform your life. Forgiveness clears that clutter. It opens the door to blessings that were always meant for you, but could not enter while your soul was full of pain. Picture your heart as a room. For years you have filled it with memories of pain, voices of doubt, and the weight of mistakes you refuse to release. The room is dark and crowded. There's no space for light to enter, no room for new beginnings. But the moment you choose to forgive, the moment you decide to let go, you open the windows. You let in fresh air, light, and space for something better to grow. This is the secret so many people miss. Forgiveness is not just an emotional act. It's a spiritual transformation. It changes the way you see yourself, the way you see others, and the way you move through the world. When you release what no longer serves you, you create an energy of openness, an energy that attracts peace, success, and opportunities you never thought possible. Life is always trying to move you forward, but it cannot do its work when you are holding on to yesterday. That old anger, that old story, that old pain, it is like carrying a suitcase full of stones everywhere you go. And then you wonder why your steps feel so heavy, why your progress feels so slow, why every goal seems just out of reach. It is because you have not yet put the weight down. The moment you forgive, everything changes. Suddenly, the path that once seemed blocked begins to clear. Conversations flow more easily. Ideas come to you with clarity. You wake up with energy you haven't felt in years. Why? Because forgiveness doesn't just free your heart, it frees your mind, it sharpens your focus, it lifts the fog that has been clouding your vision and weighing down your decisions. Think about the people you know who carry bitterness. Look at their faces. You can see the weight of it in their eyes, in the way they speak, in the way they walk. They are chained to something they cannot change, and because of that, they miss the beauty of what is in front of them. Now, think of someone who has truly forgiven, who has chosen to release the past. You can feel their lightness. You can sense their freedom. They are not perfect, but they are at peace, and that peace draws good things toward them like a magnet. That is what forgiveness does. It raises your vibration. It changes the way you show up in the world, and in doing so, it changes what the world brings to you. When you forgive, you are no longer vibrating at the frequency of pain and anger. You begin to attract experiences that align with peace, abundance, and joy. But make no mistake, forgiveness is a choice, and it is a choice you must make every single day. There will be moments when the old wounds try to whisper to you, moments when you feel that anger rising again. In those moments, you must remind yourself, I have released this. I will not pick it back up. My future is too important to let my past control it. And with every act of forgiveness, you grow stronger. With every release, you step closer to the life you are meant to live. Forgiveness does not erase the lessons of the past, it amplifies them. It turns pain into wisdom, failure into strength, and endings into new beginnings. Understand this. You are not meant to live your life carrying yesterday's weight. You are meant to live light, to live free, to live open to the infinite possibilities that are waiting for you. But to step into that reality, you must first clear the space within. Forgiveness is the broom that sweeps away the debris of anger, shame, and regret. It is the key that unlocks the door to peace. It is the act that makes room for love, for clarity, for blessings, and for growth. And here is the beauty of it. When you forgive, you don't just change your own life. You change the way you interact with the world. You show up kinder, calmer, stronger. You lead with peace instead of pain, and that energy ripples outward, touching everyone around you. So let it go. Let the anger go. Let the guilt go. Let the story you've been telling yourself for years go. Make space. Because the moment you clear that space, life will rush in to fill it with everything you've been praying for: peace, opportunities, love, and the freedom to finally become everything you were meant to be. Forgiveness is not a single moment. It is not a sentence you speak once and never think about again. Forgiveness is a practice, a daily discipline, a conscious choice you make every morning when you open your eyes and every night before you close them. It is a habit of the mind and the heart, a commitment to yourself that you will no longer be chained to the pain of yesterday. Each new day gives you the chance to release what no longer serves you. But here's the truth most people miss. The world will give you countless reasons to hold on to anger, to resentment, to regret. People will hurt you. Circumstances will test you. Your own mind will replay your mistakes, whispering that you are not worthy of peace. That is why forgiveness must be a daily practice, because the weight you let go of today will try to return tomorrow. When you rise in the morning, take a moment before you do anything else. Stand in front of the mirror and speak these words with conviction. I forgive myself. I forgive the world. I walk forward in peace. Do not just say it, feel it. Let the words settle into your mind and into your heart. Begin your day light, unburdened, ready to meet the world as the best version of yourself. And when the day ends, as you lay your head down, release it all again. The arguments, the disappointments, the small wounds of the day, let them go. Do not carry today's weight into tomorrow's sunrise. Forgiveness is like breathing. You release the old so you can take in the new. If you hold your breath, you suffocate. If you hold on to pain, you suffocate your spirit. This practice is not easy at first. Your mind will fight it. Old wounds will rise up, demanding your attention. Anger will whisper that you have the right to stay bitter. Regret will remind you of the times you failed. But in those moments, you must choose to release, choose to forgive, choose to rise above the noise. You see, forgiveness is not for the weak. It takes strength to look pain in the face and say, "You will not control me today." It takes courage to look at your own mistakes and say, "I was not perfect, but I am growing." And it takes discipline to repeat this choice day after day until forgiveness becomes the natural language of your soul. The beauty of this practice is that it compounds. Just as daily exercise strengthens the body, daily forgiveness strengthens the spirit. With every day you choose release over resentment, peace over pain, you grow lighter. Your energy shifts, the people around you feel it, the opportunities around you sense it. Life responds to your new state of being. There will be days when forgiveness feels impossible, days when the wound feels too deep, the betrayal too sharp, the mistake too heavy. On those days, do not force yourself to feel something you do not feel. Instead, simply say, "I am willing to forgive. I am willing to be free." That willingness is the seed, and over time, with patience, it will grow into genuine release. Understand that forgiveness does not erase boundaries. Practicing forgiveness does not mean you allow people to hurt you over and over again. It does not mean you stay in places or relationships that drain your soul. Forgiveness is about releasing the poison, but you must still guard your peace. You forgive, and then you stand tall, drawing clear lines that protect your heart and your future. Make forgiveness your ritual. Let it shape your mornings and calm your nights. Let it be the constant reminder that you are in control of your energy, your emotions, and your response to the world. The more you practice, the less power the past has over you. And here's what happens when forgiveness becomes your way of life. You stop reacting. You stop letting the world pull you into chaos. You begin to move through life with a quiet strength, a steady calm, a peace that no one can shake. The things that once triggered you no longer hold the same power because you have learned the discipline of letting go. Each day is a new chance to choose freedom. And every time you choose it, you take one more step into the life you are meant to live, a life where you are no longer a prisoner of anger or guilt, but a creator of peace, clarity, and strength. So practice it, speak it, live it. Make forgiveness a habit as natural as breathing, and watch how your world begins to change. Because when you choose forgiveness every single day, you are not just freeing yourself from the weight of yesterday, you are building a future that nothing and no one can take away from you.